Yes. We here. We live, baby. We live. We're gonna go ahead and this is the all black everything channel. Getting initiated here. Uh where we talk about everything black, music to history, our story, um, you know, literature, whatever, you know, reading books, sharing knowledge. That's what it's about. This is we're gonna read today from When the World Was Black. I'm gonna just pick random, you know, excerpts and whatnot, and we're gonna get it cracking like that. Here it is. When the world was black. So, who were the real savages? As we explained in the these not okay. Let me. Obviously, these aren't my words. So I'm just relaying the message. I'm the messenger. You go ahead. Don't take anything that I say, you know, for granted, or take anything that I say as law. Go ahead, do your own diligence in your research. That's my disclaimer. Uh, yeah, we're gonna keep it like that, and I'm just sharing the knowledge, baby. Here we go. As we explained in the Hood Health Handbook, Volume One, historically, original people have always been very big on being clean. We were the ones who invented soap, bathhouses, and even shampoo, all before anyone ever thought to say cleanliness is next to godliness. We've included hygiene in all of our religious and cultural traditions. Meanwhile, Europeans were historically pretty gross. From living in caves filled with feces to bathing only once or twice a year. Yes, a year. When we came to Europe as the Moors, we had to teach them how to bathe. If you saw Robin Hood when it first came out, you'll notice that the Moorish brother is the one who has to teach Robin Hood and them how to wash up. We also had to teach them about sanitation. We came from civilizations that had sewers and flushing toilets as early as 3500 BC, but as late as the 1800s, Europeans used chamber pots, which they poured out the window when they were done. Now imagine what's in them streets. But a lot of what was cleaned up, but a lot of that was cleaned up by the huge rats and pigs that they had running through the streets of Europe at the time. You can imagine the health complications. When Europeans came to North America, they brought a gang of diseases, most of which came from animals, as well as their standard of hygiene. Finney Zener, who wrote a biography of Tense Quantum, better known as Squanto, recorded that Squanto tried without success to teach them, the pilgrims, to bathe. The native people of Mexico would hold flowers to their noses and walk when talking to the Spanish conquistadors in an attempt to mask the odor that they could smell through the armor of the Spanish. In fact, Queen Elizabeth of Spain, who once boasted that she bathed only twice in her life, the first time when she was born and the second time the day of her marriage, upon hearing Columbus's reports on the frequency of bathing among the native people, issued an edict that stated, in part, they are not to bathe as frequently as hitherto. Everywhere you look among people of color, we have washed regularly, put fruits and berries in our hair and skin. Remember coming to America? And kept up the highest standards of hygiene. And even when our homes were built from clay and straw, they were impeccably clean. Don't let those ancient ruins fool you. You got to see the mock up of how they looked before they became ruins. Or visit a tribal village today. Those little huts get swept daily. In fact, we invented the broom too. So, what happened to us? We continue. What happened to us? Simple. We fell victim. Poverty and oppression changed our cultures drastically. Many of us are in plain survival mode, while others are just not trying because we've lowered our standards for ourselves and each other. We can actually compare photos and sketches of indigenous cultures from 1800s and 1900s, illustrating the gradual change that occurred among people like the Fuegians of South America. The oldest accounts of the Fuegians describe them as a respectable people who often intimidated Europeans with their strength, endurance, commitment to the protection of their women, and their high moral standards. Some of these people were so revered they became the subject of myth and mystery. Yet less than 100 years later, photos revealed the Fuegians in a state of morbid despair. Their hair is unkempt, their faces dirty, they look broken. Who broke them? They've been living in this area for thousands of years, and they were just fine until, well, you know. So when we look at a so-called primitive people throughout the world, keep in mind that these people are often the direct descendants of the original people who actually built that country's first civilization, that country's first civilizations. These lawless people were once that society's lawgivers. They've been marginalized, vilified, and forced to live on the fringes, surviving in the forests and mountains of the lands where they once built thriving ancient civilizations. This is just one of the many reasons why we may have a wrong idea about who is savage and who is civilized. Another issue is lack of consensus on what civilization means to begin with. That's that first one. When the world was black. Go ahead and get your copy. You know, we're just doing some sharing, some good knowledge, some good educating. Go ahead and jump in. Tell me what you think. We love. We live. We live. Peace and love. Power. Black power. Like that.